Thank you, Dr. Niti. So I will start by thanking the Center for Solvency and Bankruptcy Institute of Corporate Affairs for giving us the opportunity to make the presentation. It COVID-19 law in Singapore, but I wish for having this explanation to the webinar. So in terms of the format, the plan is about 20 minutes. With background legislation, and Aurelio will continue with developments, as well as any other of the international developments relating to insolvency laws, and he will conclude. We would leave plenty of time for Q&A at the end of the session. So let me start with the background. As we are all aware, the COVID-19 has been generating dramatic consequences in a number of respects, including social perspective, but also affecting the global economy. This is a public health crisis that has led to the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. In terms of the impact on the businesses, they have been unable to generate revenues and cash flows. There have been a number of consequences flowing, including businesses are unable to pay their employees, which then lead to many individuals whose jobs are at risk. The businesses are unable to pay the landlords and suppliers, which then leads to a contagion effect because they themselves would then be unable to pay their employees, as well as would affect the supply chains. The inability to pay the financial creditors will lead to a risk to financial. With the closure of the businesses and the wave of potential corporate insolvencies, what would be the impact on the economy, and what would be the impact on the judicial system? The policy response by three parts. One is the economic measures. The economic measures would include wage subsidies, stimulus bills, financial measures, including the lending policies, fiscal and monetary policies that are put in place, and the legal responses, which cuts into insolvency law, contract law, corporate law, and financial regulation. So for the purposes of this webinar, we are looking at the Singapore response. In terms of the legislation, the most significant legislative response to curtail the fallout of COVID-19 was the passing of the COVID-19 Temporary Measures Act 2020. In the April 2020, 20th April 2020. The aim of the legislation is for it to serve as what we call a pause. We will give the individuals and businesses temporary protection from the lawsuits arising from COVID-19 events, and it also makes it more difficult for creditors to bring winding up petitions against the debtors on insolvency grounds. This legislative reform, of course, is in the backdrop of the economic relief, with 60 billion Singapore dollars or 42 billion US dollars package, which represents approximately 12% of the GDP. And the economic relief takes the form of economic responses was the aim is to keep the businesses alive in a hibernation mode while the pandemic takes place, and when it's over, by keeping the businesses alive, the aims are avoid closure of the businesses, avoid as many layoffs as possible, and also avoid a situation where to cope due to corporate insolvencies. So how does the legislation work? The legislation is, in a sense, unprecedented, but steps needed to be done because in terms of the people who are at risk from the COVID-19, at least on the immediate front, we look at the individuals, the small and medium enterprises, what we call the SMEs, the employers. Now, SMEs are important in the Singapore economy because SMEs actually account for 72% of the employment in Singapore. So the support or renewed before 20th March 2020 was chosen as a date where the effects became quite clear. There was pandemic, and that contracts were interrupted and parties would have been aware of issues, and those were not allowed to protection. So contracts that entered into on before 25th March were able to get protection under legislation. There are 5 areas, but there's the ability for the government to add further areas. The 5 areas are leases for non-residential property. So I'll emphasize this for the commercial property. The second relates to construction and supply contracts. The third relates to land and tourism related contracts. The fourth relates to higher education and conditional sales agreements. And the fifth relates to the dispute floating agreements to the SMEs. So the Act will take the duration of 6 months of being enforced with the ability of being extended to a year. The relief that is granted is as follows. If the ability to perform and caused by COVID-19 events, and notification for relief is served on the counterparty. So there are two aspects here which I highlight is that it is ability to perform. It's not